Yo, I'm playing cEDH today. This is Kinnan. Everyone knows about Kinnan. I'm kind of surprised it showed up on the scene. It's a cool deck that's existed for a while. It's a nice place to be if you want to play Magic. It's not as fast as a Turbo pile, and it's not as linear. And you get to play like fat dorks who have cool abilities. So it's something I'm excited to do. My opponents are playing Winota, Crom, Tavish, and Zur. So this is a pretty good cEDH pod. Winota's on the play. If he stacks as me, dog, I'm gonna be upset. I can get through a lot. There's a lot I can fight through, so let's see what this guy has. Opponents went to 6, 4, and 6. I'm the only boy on 7 today. Nice to be me. Plains passed, dude. It appears my opponent has decided to concede the game on account of just playing a Plains on his first turn. I'm going to have to click through a 1,000-step infinite combo against a guy who quit the game. It's just like, oh gosh. Okay, Magic Online's a journey. So my opening hand is pretty tight. I don't think I can present a win on 2. But I can have a nice time for free. That's all you're really here for. All right. I have a turn 2 Wandering Archaic, which is just a lot of fun more than anything else. Simic Signet is the signet I'm most wanting to cut from the deck because it takes mana in to do stuff, but I still think it's good enough. The one card I cut that a lot of people, the one card I want to play that a lot of people don't is Boreal Druid. It costs green, it taps for 1 colorless. It's just like Kinnan lets you play an infinite number of soul rings that have summoning sickness. And so I feel like you should probably be maxing out on those, but a lot of people don't. I have no interaction, so let's hope this guy doesn't bring cards to this event. Ragavan's fine. Is he attacking me? Ragavan is attacking me. I do not want to trade my Bloom Tender off, so he can get a hit in. Get your treasure, dog. What do you get? Opponent exiled Mirage. Okay, so Mirage Mirror is bad luck. That is one of my pieces that lets me make colored mana once I make infinite mana. So that being exiled, somehow Ragavan always steals the piece you really, really need. I don't know how they do it, but the guy did it. So I can still win, but I can't. I have the crop rotation for Treasure Vault to make colored mana. So for those who don't know, Kinnan can make infinite colorless mana with Basalt Monolith. If you have a way to get colored mana, you can use Kinnan to filter through your library until you hit a Thrasius. Then you can use Thrasius to draw your whole library and win the game through a number of means. Arcane Signet's okay. So I get to have a cool turn, cool guy turn over here coming in right now, assuming no one plays a counterspell. All right, so I'm gonna take 4 off this mana vault, or take 1 off this mana vault. I can't pay 4. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to optimize my mana. So if someone counters Kinnan, can I still have a nice turn? I don't think so. Don't think so. So let's start just by casting a Kinnan. No one ever counters my Kinnan. Like, someone should counter my Kinnan. It would be better if they did. They never do. So let's cast Llanowar Elves here. I don't know what to do in this deck if your Kinnan gets countered. It just feels like, I guess you just play so much fast mana, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so Wandering Archaic has resolved, which is great news for me. It means I'm copying a ton of spells. This is one of the most fun cards to play with because you get to play your opponent's decks. Usually your opponents play around it because they know that you shouldn't be casting Demonic Tutor for free. But like, imagine if they didn't know that. And I just got to do it. It'd be fucking tight. Ragavan coming down, but not dash. Zur is fine. It doesn't have haste. It's Esper. Couldn't have haste. Okay, so we're assuming this guy is on a a Turbo Necropotence pile. He's going to use that to grab Necro. All right, now we've hit the portion of the game where I have to start making decisions. Because on my turn, I will be able to do a lot of stuff. I'll have 13 mana with which to do as I please. I'm not going to untap my mana vault because I don't care. I can Seagate to draw 3, but that's a lot of mana to draw 3. I think I'm just going to like take it slow. So let's go here. 5. All right, I'm just going to... You are 80% to whiff when you use Kinnan, but it's just so much fun, I don't care. I'm going to do it. If I had a Seedborn Muse, I look like a genius. Birds of Paradise, even better. Guys, the game's over. I've won. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5. I can have 6 mana here. I don't know if there's anything worth my doing. It might have been better to play the Seagate. I just didn't want to. So I'm going to put this in. I'm going to do it untapped because as commander, I've got 30 life for a reason. I'm going to use it. So I'm keeping up Swan Song. I don't know what I'm going to do with this crop rotation. If I'm very desperate for a Kinnan flip, like really like sad desperate, I can crop rotation into a Ancient Tomb and then get the extra mana, but then that means I can no longer combo and win the game with Treasure Vault. That's a weird trade-off, but like maybe this guy's got it on his turn. Toxic Deluge is a card. I have Swan Song for it. God bless it. Wandering Archaic's also cool because it's a proactive way to keep your opponents from having counterspells, because if they cast a counterspell, you mana leak it, or I guess you make disappear it. You counter it unless they pay 2. And so if it insulates your plan from their mess. This is toxic. Question here is, do I want to Windfall? I have the fewest cards in my hand, so I would stand to gain the most from this. And like I can stop this windfall, but then I have to deal with Homeboy on his next turn. So I'm gonna let this happen. So this does kind of stink because I am losing a card. I'm losing a combo piece and a counter spell, but I don't have the combo. And if I counterspell this, then Zur gets to have a free turn, which is probably going to be pretty bad for me as well. So my opponent has discarded just some really great cards. This guy's playing not optimal stuff. Propaganda. Okay, so this guy's not all the way cEDH. I picked up a Force of Negation. I mean, I have more cards in my hand now. Things are tight. And these are all quite good. I can cast the Force. So my opponent says, well, that's probably GG. Why? Oh, it's because he didn't draw any lands. Haha. Yeah, that stinks, bud. Sorry about it. I guess I just have to respond to this. No, he's attacking Magic over. He's attacking the other guy. That makes more sense. You'd be a fool to attack me with my board state. Let's see what he gets. Opponent's looking for a long time. So my opponent was worried that he was going to get Necrophidence, and it appears Zur is wanting to wait another turn just to be sure because he wants to give it hexproof. I don't know what decisions this guy's making, but it seems like he's having a nice time, so I'm not going to say anything to him. If he casts something, I can Force of Negation. You can have it entered as a copy of any artifact or enchantment on the battlefield. So he could copy my Mana Vault, my Simic Signet. Okay. Dude, if he goes double Greater Aromancy, I'm going to vomit. I'm going to vomit. I'm going to let that resolve. I don't care if he gets some mana. Watch me die to whatever he does, but like, I don't care. Okay, he did go Greater Aromancy. That is one line you can take for free. Okay. My opponent appears to just be enjoying himself, having a great day. They do both have Shroud. All right, Mana Vault, do your worst. Something Magic Online has done is you don't have to click no twice when you're not paying a cost. Used to, you'd have to you would get dazed. You're like, you don't pay for days? And you're like, no. And then it asks you again when you just told it you didn't have one mana. Your life was so bad you didn't have a single fucking mana, and they asked twice. And now they stopped that. So I'm a big fan of that not happening to me. Well, guys, I have the option to spin the dice, roll the dice, spin the wheel. I don't know what you want to call it. Let's start off with a One Ring because I can draw an extra card. This card's kind of nuts. Yeah, got protection from everything. I don't really have anything in my hand. I have a counter spell which is going to keep me from dying. And as we saw the previous turn, like when you flip Kinnan, you could hit something that wins the game. You could also hit a Bird's Paradise. Both of those are free. You can do them as much as you want, but it's not always a great deal. So I might just take the scenic route through this game where I Springleaf Drum. What's happening? Why do I have green mana flooding? Oh, I used it for the mana. Got it. That makes sense. Springleaf Drum. I have a ton of mana. I think I can afford one spin on the wheel here. Oh, I probably shouldn't have cast my Mox Opal. Okay, guys, I don't know if you know, but I can no longer win the game with a, what's it called? A Bouncer, a Hullbreaker, or a Tidespout Tyrant, which is a weird decision for me. Opponent's thinking about this. Let's hope I get in a fight. Never mind, we're not. I mean, I have just a ton of mana. Let's just get nuts. I'm going to use my creatures in case my opponent has a way to fudge that for me. Let's see what happens. I think Gilded Drake is the take here. I'm going to be sad about losing out on a bunch of these cards, but the Drake just keeps me from dying to Zur's silliness, which is a pretty big deal. I don't know what my opponent has in this. To be fair, I don't know how bad this can get. It might, it's just not a big deal. I'm still taking the Gilded Drake. I'm playing this Emergence Zone in case things get buck wild and I have to go off, or have to do something at some point when I wouldn't want to. That's a vague thing to say. I've got 9 mana, which means I can get a flip in if I need to. My wife's bringing lunch in a moment. That's good news. All right, Dark Ritual is going to give me some free mana. If he casts Adnaz, I could. Let's see. Let's just see what this guy wants to do. Let's hear him out, guys. I'm sure it's not a big deal. I'm trying to think about what I would really, really care about, and I don't know what that is. But also, I'm apathetic and kind of stupid, so I should probably take this slow. So I'm going to get my 3 blacks here. I'm kind of feeling like a silly little Billy. I know. I'm going to spin Kinnan. There's a chance that I get to counterspell his thing and make infinite mana and win the game right here, which is, I don't know what he has, but I don't want to deal with it too bad. Let's see. Consecrated Sphinx is not that, but it's still good. Wish I'd had a turn earlier. I'm going to give my opponent, he gets the Dark Ritual. He gets to have it. Hope he enjoys it. He's a good guy. Toxic Deluge for 6. I am not going to copy this. No, thank you. And I am sorry to say I am going to counter this. Maybe he has a force. He sandbagged it and my opponent's a master. Let's find out together. I was just playing Legacy where your opponent almost always has Force of Will because you have 4 in a 60 card deck. And so now I've been abused into thinking that my cEDH opponents are going to have it. I don't think he does. Nope, lucky. I got a GG. Very cool. Thanks very much. My opponent has double Greater Aromancy, and I'm going to have to somehow find a way to beat that. Let's see if I can. My opponent could kill me pretty good. Like, weirdly enough, if you just cast like Day of Judgment, the game is over. Okay, Sphere of Safety. That is not an issue. Thank you, sir. I will not be concerned with that at all. So we're basically in free roll territory now. My opponent, I do not believe, has any capacity to interact with anything that I have on a real level. I think I'm just gonna, dunkaroo on him for a while. And so I don't want to click through this is the big thing. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Let's make some mana. Sure, I'm gonna make extra blue. I'm gonna draw some cards to One Ring. I just drew the Basalt Monolith. I was gonna have to tutor for it and go through this whole rigmarole. Not anymore, guys, just casting it. Do you guys like clicking? Because boy howdy, do I have a treat for you if you do. God, I'm still clicking. All right, so I'm gonna tell, let me break things down for my opponent. Yeah, let's see if he has interaction. So he's not saying anything. So, oh my gosh, did you see that? I don't know if you guys can see my pop-ups. Sometimes I have to click it several times. I mean, this is just clicker's delight. You got to click so much. So for the people at home, because I am a friendly guy, I'll show you that, oh, don't do that. I would Chord of Calling here, boop, boop, boop. I Chord of Calling for 3, even though Thrasis only costs 2, because I'm just feeling like that kind of guy. And then I would draw my whole library, and then I'd win the game somehow. I'm going to concede, because it doesn't appear my opponent's going to, but like I did win this game technically.